Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of this week's Drop. I am Sidney Smith. I'm here with my brother
David Greaves.
What's good, bro?
How are you, sir?
Not bad, not bad. This is take 3.
Yes.
I've now have forgotten to hit record twice, so
We good now.
we should be good right now. Before we get on with the show, I want to thank you guys who have already subscribed to the channel. I thank you. I appreciate you, whether it's because of this podcast or the stand-up or the sketches. Thank you for jumping on and checking out and liking it enough for that. Next thing I want to say is if you are a fan of this pod, please share it with someone, send it out, let everybody know. And thank you guys who've already given us comments on some of our clips that we have out there. You guys have been so respectful. It's allowed me the opportunity to kind of go back and forth with you and have a conversation, whether we agree or we disagree. So thank you guys very much for that. Also, follow me on IG at Sidney Smith Creative, CRE8TIV. And follow Mr. David Greaves over here at David's Mark 2020 AZ. So check us both out over there and let us know how much you enjoy the pod there also.
Please share, like, comments. We'd love your comments.
Yeah, all that stuff. And then if you're in the Phoenix market, December 28th, I will be at Mic Drop Mania. I'll be over there headlining the show, working out some more brand new material that no one's heard yet. Yes. And we're going to have another good time. So we'll do that. All right, we got all of that business out of the way. Let's get on with the pod. The reason that you guys are here.
Yes, this week's drop.
So, Crystal Magnum, the woman who accused the Duke lacrosse players back in the 90s of SAing her.
Yes.
And if you were around then, you know that there was a lot of up and downs, a lot of information that wasn't known that became known, all that different type of thing. When I last week saw the headline that she was admitting that she made the whole story up about being essayed by the Duke lacrosse team, I had to sit down and just watch and hear what she had to say. And then after that, I had to hit you up.
Yeah.
And say, did you see this shit? Where were you at with her admitting it now? And where were you at with it back then when everything was kind of happening?
I didn't believe it from the beginning. It didn't ring true to me. It reminded me of Susan Smith with the black man took my car and murdered my kids.
Yeah.
It just didn't ring true. But it caused a major rift between elites and non-elites. And that's why I think it was so juicy, because
especially in that area.
Yes, it was, these privileged white boys are, sexually assaulting somebody who was black. And it was juicy. So it was easy to chew on for a lot of people. For me, it just didn't ring true. It didn't sound believable. Sort of Tawana Smith back in the days. It just didn't sound credible. I was glad that she finally admitted. I don't know why it took decades and decades for her to do this. Maybe she just felt guilty, or she's trying to.
It sounds like she's born again.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So I'm happy for you.
I mean, that's what it sounded like when she was.
She finally
when she was speaking.
Yes. Got a chance to try and make amends or clear.
I mean,
her conscience.
Like I know, and anybody out there who grew up in the church knows that you become born again.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you automatically wash yourself of everything.
No.
So sometimes people who are out here walking around for decades,
yes,
with something weighing heavy on them,
yes,
and they don't have the courage
to do it.
Yeah. To correct that wrong, which she just. And I'm obviously speculating. I don't know this woman. We're just trying to figure out why it took her 30 plus years to finally.
That part. Again, I'm glad that she did it for the men.
Yeah,
because they're grown men now, and again, that stigma doesn't go away from you whether you're found guilty or innocent. It's still always going to, when they pull it up, it's going to be, they were falsely accused of SAN.
Yeah.
Not, they were cleared of all charges or anything like that. It's always going to be a stigma that's on them.
Well, I think this story is a little bit different, though, in terms of they found out that the DNA didn't match.
Yes.
The prosecutor, I believe.
He's the governor.
Who I believe the prosecutor got fired.
Okay, but the one
who was pushing it.
Yes.
Because he knew information.
Yes.
And wasn't revealing it.
Yes.
And so I think this will ring a little bit different for those. I can't call them young men anymore. Mm-hmm. Those men, I think they might be older than me at this point, possibly. For those men, I did. Here's what I did think. This is why you just can't jump out here
Yes.
today and say, yeah, he did it.
Yes.
When someone comes with an accusation.
Which I hope for more people than not, they would take it and, again, take everything at face value. There's a lot of times that there's things that happen and everybody calls me, oh, yeah, this is what happened. Let me see everything. Let's wait. Because, again, you could see 2 minutes of a video and go, oh, see, that's what happened. Well, what happened before? What happened after?
Right.
What led up to it?
Right.
And for me, again, most of the time when something like this happens, I'm always like, ooh, let me.
Well, look, so you brought video. When it comes to Puff, that video, that was case closed.
Yes.
That was just case closed for me in terms of that. When you talk about everything else that they say that he's done, I want to still see what the government has.
Yeah.
I only can assume that it must be worth something because they won't let this man out of jail. If you've had judges say, no, you're not going home, then I can only assume that the government has something.
That you did more above and beyond.
That video.
Yes.
Because that video isn't what's keeping him in jail right now, and they won't take your $50 million.
Yes. Or the house, or passports, or anything where the other dude from Abercrombie and Fitch is out.
Right.
Living regular life.
So that was the thing that I thought first. See, that's why you just can't jump out and just say that this happened when someone comes saying that this happened to me. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, but
we've gotten so far from that now in 2024. I'm afraid to see where it's going to go beyond today.
Because if you're famous or your story tickles the fancy or the hearts of anybody, then they automatically go with, oh yeah, they definitely did it. And no, it's not always the rich and famous are just abusing and taking advantage of people. Again, there's quite a few stories where people have said, I've been essayed by such and such, but you stayed at work for 4 more years. You went on trips with this person. Like I don't understand, because you always have an option to quit. And if you stayed, then it, for me, is a problem. If you didn't report it right away, then it makes it harder for me to go, okay.
Well, you're seeing that now, because we would be remiss if we didn't bring it up because it's in the news. The Jay-Z.
Yes.
With this young lady.
Yeah.
Have you seen the latest?
I heard his reply back about it. Like, I'm not giving y'all no money. If you thought this was a money grab, the wrong one.
So CNN did an interview with her and kept her in the shadows because she didn't want her identity revealed, which is another problem for me. But she went on to tell the story about how everything played out, and they found inconsistencies in the story.
Yes.
So when they called her, they kind of point these things out.
No, she didn't want to talk about it.
She said, hey, look, all I can remember is what I said, and that's what's true to me. Like, she talked about a band members being at the VMAs. This band has said, we were on tour. We weren't even there.
Yes.
She talks about her father. And I'm sorry, and we're speaking about this as if you guys know what we're talking about, which I'm assuming. There was a young lady that came out. Her lawyer had already tried to sue Puff, saying that he had essayed her. Then they were supposed to be a celebrity, A and B. Yes. Well, after they try to sit down with Jay-Z and say, hey, we want to just have a confidential meeting where we discuss some things. We're not asking for any money, which is exactly what that meeting is going to be for, because it's a civil case. Jay-Z's put his letter out after they revealed his name, and now this is where we are now, because Jay-Z says he didn't do it.
Make it a criminal case is what he said.
And he said, if it's that way, then let's go.
Yeah.
So her father, who she said picked her up. And now keep in mind, she was 13 years old at the time of all of this.
But she was at an after party.
Yeah.
At 2 a.m. At 13.
Which there's proof and video of actually there was no after party at a house. Yeah. They were all after partying at a club.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's the fact that whoever this friend is drove her 5 hours and just dropped her off here.
Yeah. And then
a
left her.
13-year-old.
Yeah, come on.
This person is dead now, so you can't ask this question. But here's the icing on the cake, and you'll get this completely because you're a dad. When she says when her dad came to get her, he didn't ask her any questions. They didn't talk about anything. He just drove her home.
5 hours later. 5 hours away, huh?
When CNN reached out to her father, he said, look, I've been going through a lot, but I don't remember any of that happening. He said, I would like to think that I wouldn't forget. He said, but I cannot recall.
Picking my 13-year-old daughter up who was disheveled because something traumatic had happened. And I'm just going to be like, oh, where were you at last night? Mm-hmm. Oh, why are you dressed because she had to be dressed in some type of adult clothing that you didn't say, well, my 13-year-old daughter is dressed in some provocative clothing.
Yeah.
Too grown for her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning the next day, and I didn't know she was gone, and I'm just picking you up. Come on.
The attorney that brought this against Puff and Jay-Z is now saying, well, she was vetted through another law firm who brought her over to us. We ask her questions too. Yeah. And she's been going through all these different health issues because of the stress of this, but she's willing to take a polygraph. So I think slowly but surely we're going to start to see them try to move away from this case.
Yes.
Because Jay-Z's foot is about to be on their necks.
Yeah.
But I was bringing that up to go back to where we started with this, with Crystal Magnum. Mm-hmm. When that, and you're right, I'm with you. I remember all of the news stories they were doing because I believe that area of North Carolina where Duke is not the greatest area in terms of economic.
The triangle, it's in the like the triangle, and
like I think there's a lot of lower economic people back then, black folks in that area. That
it's like USC, the same.
Yes,
where the school is perfect, but if you go a couple blocks this way or that way, it's
you could. Because they were really trying to play up that angle of rich versus poor, black versus white.
Yes, because it was Duke.
Yeah, right.
These privileged lacrosse 100%. Players, So,
and they were. I remember people out there with the picket signs and everything, and
which is that rush to judgment because it sounded sensational, and that's like when the Jay-Z first came out. Oh my God, Jay and Puffy, all these billionaire dudes are doing this to people, and I was like, they're two different people. They're two different people. They move differently. They might be similar, but they move differently.
I think people always want to assume that people on that level, are up to something.
Yeah.
I think it's a reason.
Pizzagate.
Pizzagate. It's a reason why people believe that stuff.
They want to, because again, think of anybody who is achieved any level. Mm-hmm. We always want to crab in the barrel, bring them 100%. Back down. Right? They got to have something wrong with them. They did something. They're in the Illuminati.
Just somebody did. I'm not there because I didn't have someone who propelled me there.
Yeah, I didn't kill anybody in my family to, unalive somebody in our family to make it to the next level. Yeah. I wasn't willing to go in those rooms and do certain things, so I can't achieve these things. Yeah. They couldn't have been hard work and determination and luck of the draw or just the will of God.
And I'm not taking away the fact that you have to make, excuse me, connections along the way. Yeah. In order to get to a certain status in life. So I'm not saying Jay, Puff, or anybody, or even take outside the music business, gets any place without some type of help along the way.
Of course.
But this whole, just to put a nice ring on it, as you already said it, this Illuminati shit.
Yeah.
And you gotta, there's people out there who think children are sacrificed.
Listen. The dude went to the pizza parlor and was going to kill some people.
Yes.
Because
some people. Yes, he was.
I'm sorry, unalive some people because they had put it up on the web, in the dark web. Oh yeah, this is what happened, and go in the basement. And I just saw a TV show where they did this exact thing, and they brought the guy into the basement, and he's like, "Well, where are the chambers and the rooms?" And they're like, "It doesn't exist, Dad." People, if you want the rabbit hole, you could find a rabbit hole.
Easily.
And it's amazing how many people are really, truly diving into the hole. Like No, it's got to be.
And gladly.
Yes. Again, the whole every billionaire has to sacrifice children or somebody in their family. That there's something was it nefarious?
Yep, you got it.
Stop, please. Some people just worked hard and they don't have to do all the rest of this crazy stuff. So
I got into this conversation. I'm going to just tell you guys this just because it's where I want to go with this next. I was with some friends I go hang out with every Thursday. We have some bourbon and cigars, and we just talk about everything. Mm-hmm. And we got to talk about forgiveness. And I had one friend of mine who I don't want to name, who was telling me, you gotta forgive. You know, whenever you think about vengeance, and he was throwing whatever old saying he could say in my direction. And I told him, I just laughed. I said, that's not how I feel about it. I sleep just fine with my vengeful heart. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't bother me in the least in terms of that, because I just think everyone's different. We're just all built different.
Yes.
Crystal Magnum asked for the forgiveness from these young men. My question to you is, can you or would you forgive her for that?
David as the young Duke lacrosse player? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. But David now, yes. Okay. Because I understand that in order to be forgiven, I have to forgive. Mm-hmm. You and me had this discussion and you were like, yeah, sound good. Not happening. Again, it's through growth and understanding my faith. I have to lean onto my faith and go, okay, well, the word tells me in order to be forgiven, I have to forgive. So I would hope that now it would be easier for me to do. It makes me think of CNN when the shooter went into the church and he
a few years back.
Yeah. And that same day, the pastor whose wife and child were unalived said, I have to forgive him. And when I tell you it was the biggest gulp I was like, ooh, I'm not there yet. And now I would hope that I'm a little closer to it, but I still don't know, because we still have those human emotions, and I'm still a little, we got to get some get back. I'm a clapback type of dude. So I have to hope that I would be able to, somebody would talk to me and go, calm down. Because if it happened instantaneously, no.
Look, I remember being a young man, mm-hmm. and I had a cousin who was talking to me about being married and how, as you get older and your marriage moves along and the activities mm-hmm. don't happen as often.
Yes.
And he said to me, sometimes you just want to come home to a nice back rub. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and I said, I hope I never get that old. I can't not forgive someone who did that to me. What I didn't hear from her was a good enough reason on why you did
it's never
such a thing.
There's nothing she could have said to make it okay, to make it where you would say, oh, yeah, okay.
Not okay, but something. You don't have nothing?
What could she have said? There's nothing that I can think of for Sidney Smith to go, you know what? That makes sense.
I'm not saying I'm necessarily going to forgive, but you got to give me something.
There was nothing. Again, she ruined, at their life, she ruined the next 5 years easily.
The coach was fired? They fired the coach of the team?
Again, yes. And this is why I think that there has to be some type of repercussions and consequences.
Has to be.
To you made an accusation. Mm-hmm. You cannot stay in the dark. Mm-hmm. Again, it's not 30 years ago where power players couldn't get tarnished. Now, if it's proven, mm-hmm. people are washing their hands of you.
Which is why when people were kind of shocked about how Jay handled the allegation when it came out last week, how can you be shocked? The dude, once someone says it, people run with it like it's true.
Yes.
People don't come back and try to see what happened later.
No.
Did you hear what happened? Did you hear what Jay did?
Yeah.
Did you hear?
Did you hear it was all fake and she lied about it? They're not going to fix. Again, it was front page news. And they always put the apology on the back page or the fourth page underneath this.
Yeah.
So no, I'm going to be aggressive with it.
Have to be.
You have to be like, oh, you want this? I'm going to give you all the smoke that you came for. But we talk about this in real life. Like, again, I'm going to be super apologetic. I'm going to be like, please, no, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it flips, it's going to be full-fledged. Oops, I shouldn't have did that.
Yeah, I think about this situation with Jay. They really misread the room on this. Yeah. If you thought Jay was just going to come to the table and cut you
that's why I said Jay and Puffy are two different dudes. Puff
ain't doing it either, because if Puff had, he wouldn't be in this. Someone brought this up. I think they brought it up on the Breakfast Club last week. Had Puffy just paid
what's her name?
Old girl, we had the video.
He did pay her.
She wanted. He
should have paid her earlier.
Paid her before.
Yes. This is when you think that you're untouchable, or when you forget what your color is, they will remind you. But I think Puff and Jay are when you're guilty and you know you've did dirt, you kind of, well, I don't know. And I don't think Jay may be as guilty as Puff did in these situations, where Jay was like, no, absolutely not, bro. I'm not even going to let y'all play with my name.
Well, I'm with you, and I do think it's two different things, because ultimately we did get to see that Puffy was at least guilty of that. Yeah, I don't know what else he's guilty of yet.
100,000 bottles of baby oil?
Well,
girl, you was doing something.
Doing something, but we haven't seen the evidence of that other than baby oil.
There's too many people who have.
Well, what I'm saying is,
yes.
So what I'm saying is,
yes.
If he had I guess there's a couple different things with Puff. If he'd had kept his mouth shut instead of trying to go after that liquor distributor,
yes,
is he in any of this? Two, if he had to pay Cassie much earlier,
yes,
is he in the middle of any of this instead of
when you knew that you had did
because
stuff,
you knew you did stuff?
Yes,
that's where I think is different with Jay.
Yeah,
because Jay believes and knows he didn't do anything, so I'm not giving you anything.
Yes,
but I think you can look at it a lot, because people have always said, and I think Michael Jackson came to regret paying off those parents because he just kept coming.
Yes,
and he knew, and a lot of other people around him say he didn't do anything, but he paid to get rid of them.
You hear there are tapes of the mother and the kid being coached and them saying, well, we know it didn't happen, but so again, because these kids have come back and
we talking about Michael Jackson.
Yes, they did it. It didn't happen. It did happen. I didn't believe them from day one, because the story, again, sometimes we just got to take a step back and go, yeah, Mike is weird, but I don't know. And then why would you let this happen again and again as a parent?
And parents still bringing them over.
Yes. After it happened, oh, well, we can go back over there. No, absolutely. Y'all need to go to jail.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I never believed that. A lot of it for me, being young, was because I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. Couldn't imagine it. Couldn't believe it. Then as I got older and learned to hear more, and I said, absolutely not. No. I just never, I never ever believed. But then you never wanted to believe the R. Kelly stuff again until, even I remember being a kid and hearing about him and Aaliyah, and we're like, yeah, maybe. No, I don't know. And not really caring at the same time, because that was a different time.
Yeah, we didn't. And that's what I'm saying now, that you being anonymous now in this current climate, absolutely not. Back then, there was real power and they could push back, but nobody's letting anybody push back anymore.
Right.
If you did it, they gonna dig you in the ground, and you never get a comeback from it.
Well, and I think that we're only maybe a week away. I'll be surprised if they don't reveal the identity of this young lady who's making these accusations.
Somebody's going to
Jay-Z.
In the past, they would hide folks. Now, there's too many people that know how to pull up stuff and investigative. Like even the dudes who was marching around in, was it Virginia? When the Tiki Torch dudes, and they started popping their pictures up. People made money finding out who these people are. So you can't if you have any type of internet.
Any type of footprint out there. Yes. Yeah. I remember I used to try to do some bits about that, because these dudes all look like Target employees. They're all in red polos. I just remember thinking, A Target employee is never scared of a black person ever. And this is a wrong uniform. You were better off with the old uniforms y'all used to wear with your tiki torches. Than these here. Quick switch. NBA ratings.
Yeah.
Down. Way down. I know what I feel about the NBA. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and start this one. NBA sucks. Mm-hmm. There used to be a time where I loved the NBA. I grew up hooping. I wanted to be Jordan. I wanted to be Isaiah. Mm-hmm. There was a time when my mother would have to drag me in as a kid who grew up with asthma. Mm-hmm. Get your ass inside. It is cold and raining. Mm-hmm. I remember her leaving me over at my cousin's house when I was, 10 years old, 11 years old, and said, if it starts raining, make that fool come inside. Because he would stay out there till he passes out from an asthma attack. Mm-hmm. I just loved basketball. Yes. We watched the games at Christmas time. Remember the NBA used to own Christmas Day.
Yes.
And so that was the thing. We would get together, me and my cousins. What did you get? What did you get? We would play our video games. Time to watch the game. And watch the game. I can't remember the last time I wanted to sit and watch a game unless I was going to the arena to sit courtside and watch it live or something. Where are you at with the NBA right now? And why you are that way? If you're not into it as much, why? And if you are still or more, why?
I'm not into it as much because I don't know the players. Like I felt when we were younger, people stayed on teams more so. So you knew the team. Now I don't think that the stars for the NBA are not as bright as they used to be to me.
Yeah.
KD and Steph and all of them are great. Mm-hmm. But they've been there for a while, and there's nobody new. I like Ant-Man. I think he's the next coming. I don't think they're doing a good job of turning it over.
Okay.
Get him in these young players the light that they need to sustain, like Steph. I mean, Golden State was it three-peat?
Yeah.
And, the Splash Brothers, they did a good job of promoting that. I don't think that they're wrestling with the newer players and the older players, the torch being passed.
I think the NBA is finally going to run into a situation where they do not have a player that I see now on the horizon who cares about being the greatest player. When you think about as far back as I can think. Now, some of you out there watching, you may remember further back than I do because you're older. But when I remember back, the Isaiah Thomases, the Larry Birds, the Michael Jordans, the Magic Johnsons, the greatest of the greats of this game, the Dr. J's before that, Moses Malone's before that, those guys cared about being the absolute greatest player of the greatest team.
Yes.
These guys care about, let me get this check. And whatever happens in between getting this check and me retiring, that's what happens. When you bring up KD and Steph, LeBron will include LeBron because he's this far from being done. This is the last of that breed of players.
Yes.
There's nobody to what you were saying. There's no Ant-Man too. I hope Ant-Man can because I like him. He seems like a charismatic young man who
cares. Yes.
But there's nobody after that.
Yes. No.
When you think about old boy up in Utah, is it Utah or Denver? Denver. What's the big white dude? I can't think of his name.
The center.
Yeah, the center. I can't think of his name. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Yeah. Anyway, when they won the title, he could care less about the parade. He just wanted to go back.
Yeah, he wanted to go back home.
Want to go back home. And that is what's missing in this game for me. I can't watch it for that reason. The other reason is everybody plays the same. Yeah, it looks like going to an open gym at LA Fitness or someplace.
Exactly.
We about to get out here and just get a run in.
Nobody really plays defense. It's like 150 to 142.
Yeah.
Just shooting, and everybody is a 3-point shooter.
Yes.
Nobody's in the paint, and it's just and they all friendly. And they all love each other, and I'm here. Come, I'll go to your house next week. And
I don't even care about that as much if you were trying to kill each other when you were playing the game.
Yes, but they don't. It's like an all-star game, is what it reminds me, which is the worst in the world to watch.
And they're trying to get rid of that now.
Yeah, they need
it's
to.
so bad.
The NFL did it, because it became such a travesty. I think the NBA is not far from letting that All-Star game be thing of the past.
You know, the commissioner for the NBA is not good. And that is my humble opinion. He holds no real power or sway over the players.
Yeah,
they can do whatever they want.
Stern.
They were scared of David Stern. David didn't play.
No.
David said, "This is not your league."
Yeah. And meant it. And they all knew it. Where this guy, what is his name? I can't remember his name, but he was the VP and he took over from him. And he's just too nice of a.
This is like going from a
Bill Belichick
to whatever players coach you want to bring in after Bill decides to retire.
That loves everybody.
Adam Silver is the name of the commissioner of the NBA. Adam Silver.
Yes.
And I don't like him in that position. I don't know Adam, but I don't like him in that position. Too soft.
Yeah, he's made them money and they're just making money, but they're not really, because they're expanding to China and you see they're going back to China. They're playing the game in China again because they had to kiss the ring to China.
That's fine. I mean, after that whole kerfuffle, between them, Nike and LeBron and everybody, that's fine.
I thought it was the Houston Rockets owner. He said something about.
I think, but I thought LeBron was kind of in that.
Okay, was it too?
Also, if I'm wrong, you guys correct me. But I'm pretty sure I thought LeBron has something in there with it as well. Yeah, but the ratings are dropping. I'm not surprised they're dropping.
No,
the game sucks.
It because to me, it's again the teams. There's so mediocre teams, and to me, it felt like in the 80s, because I'm a 60s kid. So the 80s, it was more competitive, where there were like 3 or 4 people in each team, where now it's one dude or 3 old dudes on a team. Yeah. Like the Lakers are just horrible. They're all old and slow and can't play every other game. What did Mike and them do? They played 82 games too, and they played 80 or 75 of the games, where now it's 40, 50.
Which is why I get such a kick out of hearing what great shape all these players are in now, and how they take care of their bodies and how they do.
He spent $1 million over his body.
You can't even play the entire season.
No.
And playoffs.
And break down every year the same exact dudes, the same exact way. Chris Paul, every year.
He got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt all the time. And for Chris, who was one of my favorite players, it was always, to me, I don't know what it was he was or wasn't doing. Should have been more exercise? Should you have changed the diet soon?
Yeah, something.
Should you? Because I think he ended up becoming vegan at a certain point.
Did he?
Over the last few years or so, I believe. He's changed his diet. But should that have been something sooner? Anthony Davis in LA.
Oh, my goodness.
Why is it up and down? And why are you making... I don't understand these contracts that they give to these guys that are not going to be present.
Yeah.
But
they have no choice because somebody's going to give them the money.
Okay, then let somebody give you the money.
But then again,
so you and I always get into this.
Who do you replace that with? Because while he might only be there for 50 games out of 82, he's the only star that they have. I mean, you'd be like Charlotte. One of these other basketball teams who has,
It's got to be a domino effect. I can only assume, because I've not seen the numbers for the Lakers, but I can only assume that the Lakers have seen something that says, if Anthony Davis isn't here, then we lose season ticket holders, and then we lose something as far as with the with whatever contract they have with whomever for showing the games live there as well. And so maybe having him only 50 games out of 82 works for them.
People are coming just because.
But how do you know what game you're coming if you don't know who's playing, who's not playing?
They won't know because, again, you and your kid we're going to go watch the Lakers play. And you're hoping that LeBron and AD are going to be there. Right. And they might be in street clothes. They might not be. And you already bought your ticket, so I don't care.
Which is why I do not... I just don't care for it. No. I'm not surprised the ratings are dropping. We can come up with a multitude of reasons. You guys let us know if you're NBA fans. Put it in the comments on how you feel about the game today. I know how I feel about it today. It sucks.
Again, I'm glad football's on Christmas.
100%. You've allowed football to encroach on your day.
Listen,
that you had
and they strangled them and they're not giving it back. Thanksgiving was already football. Now they've made Christmas, which was, again, NBA used to own Christmas.
They owned it.
It was, that was, well, who's playing? You wouldn't think about doing anything else. Now, when's the football game on?
Yeah.
I don't care about this basketball. Did they play basketball on Christmas Day anymore?
Which is why I think you also saw there was this rush to try to find a way to keep the TNT pre and post game show together. Because
they almost fumbled in the worst way.
If you couldn't keep those four guys together, I don't know what you would do with this product, because
Chuck was getting ready to leave. He was going to retire. I think they had to give him a boatload of money to come back and give him a whole bunch of other stuff
and to keep that whole team together.
Yes.
As far as the behind the scenes crew, they all wanted that same crew to work together too. Even though they made the shift, I forget where they're going. ABC maybe, not ABC. I forget where they're going. But
did Netflix? Somebody got the NBA.
Yeah, someone picked it up.
Yeah.
But that's become more important to a certain extent than the actual game.
Yeah, because that's the fun part, is listening to them four go back and forth and talk about things and topics and laugh and,
Which is what I watch when it comes to the NBA. I jump on YouTube.
Yeah.
I look for the clips, the highlights that these guys are presenting. And I laugh with these guys about whatever.
Mm-hmm. Talking about this guy doesn't want to play hard and because it's more, to me, it's better than watching a game.
100%. So that's why your ratings are dropping. You need to figure out to get Shaq and Chuck out the chairs and back onto the court.
Yeah, somebody who
too.
truly cares, like you said, about basketball being the greatest. Again, I think Ant-Man is the closest that we have, because the dude in Boston he can hoop.
Oh, Tatum.
He just doesn't have the it. He doesn't have a personality to want to, he plays hard, but
I am also the person, who was I speaking with? I was speaking with a friend of mine, another comic. And I was saying to them, I don't know why anyone gets on a stage to tell jokes if you don't want to be great at it.
Yeah.
But then I have to say, okay, that's fine. There are people who see comedy as hobbyists and they just want to get out the house and they want to go to their local bar and just tell some jokes and hang out with their buddies. And they do this for double-digit years.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you would want to do that if you didn't want to be great at it.
The paycheck. That paycheck. There's plenty of people who football, baseball, basketball,
100%,
who just get a paycheck and they're just there for the paycheck. And I think there's more people there just for the paycheck than
more than ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna get $25 million
more than ever.
I'm gonna just go out there and I don't got to play every game, because if they make me play every game, I'm just gonna cry about it.
I'm gonna come up with something. I'm gonna back something,
because AD is the prime example of, dude, what are you not doing that you can't? Him and the dude from Philly, the center.
Oh,
Embiid,
yeah, Joe.
What are you not doing? And the fat boy in New Orleans.
Yeah, Zion is back.
Dude,
I don't know if even though when there's somebody, maybe he's been on the trade block. I think now there's some talk of trade.
Because at some point you got to get tired of you're not available.
But who wants that contract though? I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't want that contract. Who wants that contract? The thing with AD that gets me is he can be on the floor and still end up with 13 points and no rebounds.
Yeah.
And you're 7 foot tall with all the talent in the world.
He's not a center. He's a forward that they have playing center.
I understand that. If you're 7 foot tall, you can't give me 2 rebounds by accident. If you grew up playing basketball, you know what I know. Rebounds and defense is all effort.
Yes. But he doesn't.
There's some skill in it. There's some players who are better at it than others, like Dennis Rodman, a few other guys. Charles Barkley was pretty good against rebounds if he felt like it. But it's effort.
But you said if he felt like it.
If he feel like
it. AD doesn't care about it. I already got $35 million for the year, and I'm only going to play 50-something games, and they're going to give me another max deal again.
Yeah. I think he's young enough to get another one.
Yeah.
I think he get another $200,000-300,000 out of the Lakers.
So
squeeze it from everything.
Yeah, because after LeBron goes, who do they have?
All right. Here's one that I stole from someone else. I don't want to take credit for. I thought this was a good one. Should those of you and anyone in this room who did not vote for Donald Trump hope that his nominees get through the Senate and put in those jobs? And when I'm talking about, The nominees, I'm talking about the ones we know right now. I'm talking about RFK Jr. I'm talking about Tulsi Gabbard. Who's the other guy that's up for Secretary of Defense? Yeah, the news anchor, Jake something or other. Should we hope that these nominees get through the Senate and get to sit down and have these jobs? The damn Indian guy who's going to be taking over the FBI because Christopher Wray decided he's going to step down. Yeah. He's going to probably get fired.
Yeah, he was going to get fired anyway.
He said, "I'm going to stick around here for that." Yeah.
Sir, I'm going to help y'all. I'm going to take a rare stance. Yes.
We should hope that they get in.
Yes. I say that sometimes the chicken's got to come home to roost. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to get what you deserve. And this country feels, because it's such a split, that I'm totally wrong and you're totally right. There is no middle ground. Mm-hmm. And cuckoo for the Cocoa Puffs, this is what you got. You want, again, the lady for the Secretary of Education.
Oh,
we already had
McMahon.
The last dude that you had for Secretary of Education who was completely incompetent.
Mm-hmm. Betsy DeVos.
So now we're going to have number 2.
Linda McMahon.
We deserve what we deserve. Sometimes you got to get that whooping in order to go, wait a minute. Because again, some of these people are truly, they might have crazy ideas, not qualified.
Yeah.
And that should be the standard is, are you qualified? No. I don't care what he wanted. Are you qualified to do the job?
Not one nominee that they've announced yet has been, I shouldn't say that.
No.
Marco Rubio is, I want to talk about the ones that are more highlighted as not being qualified. The Tulsi Gabbard.
The one who was going for, they had for Attorney General, right? The first guy.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz.
Yes. Completely
not. Well, no, not Attorney General. Secretary of Defense.
No, I thought he was going for Attorney General because now he made his attorney.
You're right. He did. He made Pamela Bond
the
Attorney General. You're right. Matt Gaetz was up for Attorney General.
Yes.
Though he had never even really had one toe in a courtroom.
Yes. So again, these are the things that I hate to say it because I hate to see what the aftermath of the country, because I love America. I'm a diehard veteran. I think America first is the greatest country in the world. If you've ever been to any other country, you'll understand that we are the best. We still have a lot of flaws, but we are still the best.
And everybody outside of these 4 walls knows that we're the best.
Yes.
That's that other falsehood. Yeah. You should see what other people think about us, and I don't care what they think about us
because they all want to come here.
They know,
and they come here in droves. So if we weren't the best,
you would go somewhere else.
Exactly. And every other country who's close, they still are sending folks here. Folks are driving here, flying here, swimming here.
Yeah, however to get here.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of caught in the middle, and I know it was my question that I'm asking.
Yeah. And but it's a hard one. It's a hard one to really.
It's a tough one because I have more intelligence experience than Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
And you were trying to give this, and I'm going to say it, very strong possible spy a job where she's going to have her hands on the intelligence.
In charge of the intelligence community.
Yes. She'll see whatever it is that she wants to see. So serious issue with it. And when you are talking about this woman who was on the no-fly list for a little while.
Yes.
Which people say, well, she's only on there for a little while.
She was on it.
Why were you on it?
Yeah,
you were on it because of your flight activity.
Yes.
Because of where you were traveling. Now, we know you're going to Syria.
Yes.
Where else were you traveling?
Yes.
We know you are a Putin apologist. So, no, Tulsi Gabbard, the RFK thing, I almost want to agree with you, except for, and I don't know how they even got their heads wrapped around this.
Crazy.
What are you morons talking about getting rid of any vaccine, let alone the polio vaccine?
This is what I'm saying. He's bad crazy.
So to me, thinking about kids walking around with the braces on their legs again, all these other things that came from children decades ago getting polio, my heart break. And we know I'm not a very empathetic person, but when it comes to kids having things done to them, being harmed, put in harm's way, I draw the line there.
Certain studies that have shown certain vaccines make it easier to get downs and stuff like that. There are some studies that show. So again, I understand some of it, but polio and the measles and the mumps, I haven't heard those. And if you've ever had this country was ravaged with that stuff, and there's countries that still are getting the measles and mumps. So there's some stuff that, again, certain positions, I'm like, I hated to say, get that. Get all of that. You got to get, because you don't understand truly how crazy the thought process of some of these people are. Mm-hmm. If we just say, whatever you say, boss, whatever you say, boss, whatever you say, boss, whatever you say. Because that's all the people who got the jobs are, whatever you say, Donald, whatever you say, Donald, you're the greatest, you're the greatest, you're the best, you're the best. No pushback at all.
No.
We've all got bosses. And they may be great bosses, but sometimes our bosses, more times than not, occasionally have some dumb stuff that they say or want to do.
And a good boss wants you to push back.
Yes, wants you to say, nah, maybe. Hey, boss, question for you. Do you think about it this way? No, they're all just like, whatever you want.
Right.
Again, I saw him this morning and he was talking about, they asked him about, do you think that Ukraine should give some of the land that Russia has taken back to them? And he's like, well, it's flattened. There's nothing there. So what difference does it make?
It's all Donald said that?
Yes. And I'm like, well, that's their land. Whether it's flattened or not, it's theirs.
Well, he's another problem for a multitude of reasons. And you and I have had these discussions, and he's another one, another Putin sympathizer, another Syrian sympathizer, Assad, that whole regime, that Assad regime when I talk about Syria. So he's another problem. The fact that he wanted Christopher Wray out because he thought there was a raid when there was just actually they came in, they knocked and they searched. Mm-hmm. Those of us who know and have family members who are behind bars, we know what a raid is. Mm-hmm. We know what that is. Hell, if you watched one episode of Law and Order, you know what a raid looks like. That is not what happened there. And had you not had what you weren't supposed to have, nobody would have came knocking in the first place. Had you turned it over,
given it to them when they asked repeatedly,
this wouldn't be an issue.
And then hit it.
So he's another problem in itself. But he's back in the White House. So now we are all kind of stuck with it and we have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But a strong part of me wants to go where you're at with the Dave, which is like, let y'all get what you got. See, because here's my favorite part. I have a big problem with Time magazine because they made this dude Man of the Year after everything else he's done. But that's fine. You made him Man of the Year. He sat down. He did an interview with you. The thing that everybody was talking about, and I'm glad they did because it stuck out to me too. It stood out to me too. Now he's not sure if he can get grocery prices down. It might be a little harder. Not sure if we can get it done, but we're going to give it our best shot. After telling people for a year, I'm the guy.
You said that about the wall.
I know.
Which for me was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get Mexico to pay for it. And I was like, Mexico who?
I just got done arguing with someone last week about this wall. They still swear it now. He did this wall. I
think it's 40 feet or 40 yards they got built. That was it.
I just crack up. But yeah, so you know what? The longer we have this conversation, the more I'm like, yeah, let y'all get what you got coming.
See, again, because I don't think that I think people think that I'm going to be okay. And if you make less than $500,000, no, it's going to affect you.
I was going to say you make less than $1 billion, but you make me
again, I think it's going to be deeper than that. It's going to be folks who, wait a minute, this is tough for me. I thought it was going to be better, but he don't care about you.
No. Go down to Mar-a-Lago, see how much he cares about you.
And again, Again, every interview is, well, I did a great job and great this. And again, he's our president. So I'll give him the same respect that he gave the other presidents before him.
Yeah.
And,
What
we'll see.
What inauguration won't I be watching?
Oh, yeah.
That one.
Yeah. He's going to get out and walk again.
So I want to flip these last two real quick. I'm over here looking at our list of topics.
Yeah,
I want to flip the last two.
It needs to.
Because I'm sitting here as we're talking, I'm trying to think of what would Dave say? And I am interested in hearing what Dave is going to say. So, again, another one I stole. It was a slow news week, so I stole some stuff. Watching the Joe Budden podcast, which, again, we've talked about before, great pod.
Yes.
They were talking about privilege, and they were talking about pretty people privilege and popular people privilege, and they were talking about different things. Like I think a couple of them said, wherever it is that they live, they didn't even have to do all of the paperwork once the person who was qualifying them saw that they were part of the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah.
Just so, is this a podcast? He's like, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're good. Come on and move in. Based off of that type of thing. What is your favorite privilege story? Because I know you got to have one. You've done some of this, some of that, been around some of this person, some of that person. What
I got a good
story
one.
is good for you?
I got a great one.
Yeah. Because I know you, I mean, I'm asking my brother this because he loves this shit. He likes this shit.
Yeah. I'm going to,
He
this one that
drinks
I'm
his
coming
pinky
with,
up.
it was 4th of July.
Oh, just son of a bitch.
And we have the privilege of going north for the summer when it's super 116 degrees here. It's a cool 75.
Yeah, up in Flagstaff. Yeah, it's nice.
And my brother does not do lines.
I don't. I don't.
So there's a line of people, maybe 60 people. Well-to-do people, because we're in Flagstaff, mind you. So they're at the country club and they're sitting back and they're waiting in line, sweating. And I'm going to mosey to the back of the line, me and my wife. And Mr. Smith says, absolutely not. I don't do lines. Give me my wristband. And the look on these privileged rich folks that these two black dudes with white women was getting in front of them and getting access was quite enjoyable. But I have to segue to the year before when we're sitting out on the patio of the green looking over the golf course.
Yeah.
And
forget about this.
The owner was like, hey, do you mind if I have these two gentlemen sit with you? So the gentleman came over and he was like, well, who are you? And I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, who are you to sit here? That I had to ask, was it okay? And I said, you don't know who that is? And he said, no. I said, well, maybe you should ask somebody. That's Mr. Sidney Smith. I said, so you might want to sit here and just shut up. And he was like, huh? I said, yes. And make sure that you tip well, because we tip well here.
Mm.
And his partner was with him, and he was like, he just wanted to know, who exactly are you people that I had to ask? I'm almost like a member here, but you're not, and you're sitting at our table.
That was, so Dave loves that stuff.
Yes.
I don't enjoy it as much as Dave does, but I'm overhearing parts of this conversation, and I shifted myself in a direction to where there was no one for me to even be looking at. I just did not want to be a part of it.
He had to get all that smoke.
Because I felt bad for the old dude who was sitting there. And you write about his friends like, dude, just chill out.
Yeah.
Because I just thought it was a weird thing for him to say. Instead of just coming over, enjoying the company of everyone.
This is that privilege. When you feel like you're privileged and you see some, again, and I can't help but bring color into it, because the way I would bet $1 million that if we were younger or just white gentlemen, it wouldn't have been an issue. Yeah. Oh, hey guys, how you doing there? But he thought, who are these two black N-words that I have to ask their permission to come sit over here?
Yeah. Well,
we're the people who are sitting here and you're not.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely agree with you on that second one, probably on the first one too. Yeah. I am not someone, I do not enjoy lines at all. So if I don't have to stand in it, I'm not. I'm not standing in lines. I don't. So privilege. So to me, privilege is one of the things I do enjoy is being able to go to certain places and do certain things.
Go to the front of the line.
Go to the front of the line. Go to games and go to suites and concerts, and these to me, those are those things on why you work so hard, not only at your craft, but to have certain relationships with certain people.
Of course,
I think that's a part of it.
Yeah.
And so I do enjoy those things. What I don't enjoy and what bothers me, and I'm glad you were sitting next to him, is when people challenge you on the privilege that you've earned.
Yes. Yeah.
As you know, as almost to a certain. And you're right. When we went in front of that line, and we went and just walked right past everyone and went up, wristbands, and we're in, and they were like, "What the hell?" And I know for a fact that people went and complained because the people that we're connected with up there, asked some favors of us. At a certain
do you
point.
mind if they come on?
Yeah.
Well, see, this is what the privilege part of. While we still had the privilege, we still were inviting of folks in there, where other folks are not inviting.
No,
I'm over here. Why who are you to come over here?
Yeah.
Oh, really? So that's why I love that. Anytime I get the opportunity to put my thumb right back in your nose and go, no, you also have to.
What did the guy say to us when we were at the concert? When they did the letters under the chairs, what did he say? And he said it to me.
Said black. They had the little 8s underneath the chairs.
Oh, he said the 8 could have been a B for Black Lives Matter or something.
No, he said black 8s matter.
Is that what he said? Okay,
Yeah.
Black 8s. Okay.
And I immediately was getting ready to put beaters on him.
Yeah.
But I remembered who I was with. We're given the function, and I didn't want to disrupt that. But his wife knew immediately.
I was about to say his wife got on him.
Yeah, she was like, "You better go fix that right now."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fixing it? I'm gonna fix it for him."
He came over to apologize, and I did the political. I did my best, Barack Obama. Oh yeah, we cool. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, didn't he buy you a drink?
He did.
Yeah, he asked me, and I was like,
Yeah. To me, it's always about, and that's why you and I always get along so much in those situations, because to me, it's always about the relationship.
Yeah, it wasn't worth me smacking
with the others.
Yeah,
and
he felt the heat
because I feel like other people who would have been sitting in that seat who looked like us but wasn't us.
Yeah.
That have went completely sideways on them.
Yes, we have some friends that would have just,
Yes.
And again, it wasn't about the disrespect. It was about, if I show up and show out, it reflects on them.
Yes.
And that was the only reason that he didn't get all of the smoke that he deserved. He felt the heat, though. Mm-hmm. I made sure that he, he knew exactly the whole rest of the, hey, no, bro, you're not funny. No jokes. Mm-hmm. It's all this, you lucky.
Yeah, it was something. All right, so let me go to our last topic then, and then before we get out of here. When you are where you are going to be in terms of economic situation, wealth, because I want to say wealth. It's not like you rode the bus here. In terms of wealth is a completely different type of word. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
When you say wealth,
yes,
people know what you're talking about. So when you get to that level of wealth, that status of, what did I write up here? Status of wealth and fame.
Yes.
If I can insert that in there. What's one or two things you just won't do? And the reason I came up with this because I was watching 50 Cent be interviewed by Big Boy. And Big Boy was like, so what does 50 do? Does 50 drive? Or 50, 50 doesn't drive. He said, do you go to the grocery store? He said, and I laughed because he went third person on it. What are a couple of things you thought? Because I know you thought about it.
Definitely. All of the above is not happening.
Okay.
Again, because you have to understand, just through doing bodyguard work, that you can't go to the store like a regular person. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to know who you are, and you shop for yourself. So no, I'm not shopping. Okay. I'm not clothes. You're coming to the house.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't wait. tailored and everything, perfectly fit suits and, designers and stuff like that. Yachts. Like, I'm not driving. For what? I could play my game in the back, I don't have to worry about it. I can put my headphones on, watch a movie.
Hilarious.
Flights. I can't wait to get on a non-commercial airline again. Like, it's a wrap, bro. We gonna be sit up in there. I'm gonna be smoking a cigar, playing on my phone while we're going up in the plane. I'm gonna do it all.
Every time I take a flight, I said this the last time I flew when I was on tour. I just can't. I kept repeating it. I can't wait till I fly private. I can't wait till I fly private. I can't stand flying commercial. I think they have finally gotten me to the point where I'm going to give them $100 so I can just do the little TSA walkthrough where y'all did a background check.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I hate, because it's always I get in front of the person in front of me, doesn't take their laptop out or forgets that, you can't wear 15 hoodies through the thing,
Yeah,
or they got 8 kids.
Well, then, flying out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, coming back home, it was a real pain in the ass because then I had to take off a pullover hoodie because something came down in the email the guy said. Yeah. But as I'm sitting there fuming, I'm looking up TSA, and here's something I didn't know. All of the TSAs, their equipment is different. Mm-hmm. So when you have to go do more as taking shoes, take everything off, that's because they don't have the latest and greatest. Mm-hmm. As opposed to the spot where you don't have to, they've got the latest and greatest.
There's some that you can walk through and it sniffs and everything and it goes through. And then the ones you have to do like this. And then there's the ones that still have the Mac.
Yeah.
There's some airports that I've been through where you don't have to take your sneakers off.
You don't take nothing off.
And then when you go to you always have to take them off. No, I just came from such and such and we didn't have to take it off.
I flew out of Phoenix. And when I flew out of Phoenix to Detroit, I didn't have to take anything off.
Laptops, some of them are in the bag, some of them are out of the bag. Yeah. So again, it's a mixture of stuff that I can't wait to not do that.
Can't do.
To not have to drive somewhere.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
We want to go to Cali. Listen, take a helicopter or a quick jet.
Well, if I got to shoot from here to here somewhere in town, someone else is driving the car, and I'm in the back seat, whether taking a nap or whatever hell I'm doing on the phone, whatever it is. So yeah, a couple of different things. I thought that was a fun question that he asked 50, and 50 answered exactly how I expected. I don't have to do anything. I'm 50 Cent.
Because again, just think like cleaning the house, cutting the yard work is stuff that you don't do now. So in a bigger house with more stuff, like cooking, oh no, it's a wrap.
Yeah, someone else handling that.
Yeah, listen. And I want such and such today. Oh, okay, sir, we got that. Boom.
Yeah.
Cooking, cleaning. Listen, I'm gonna be like Eddie Murphy. The royal penis is clean.
You want me to cut that out? I know who you're married to.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking us out again this week. I have been Sidney Smith with my brother over here,
David Greaves.
And this has been this week's drop. Again, don't forget, if you are in the Phoenix market, I will be at Mic Drop Mania December 28th. Go ahead and get your tickets at SidneySmithCreative.com, CRE8TIV. And follow me on IG at Sidney Smith Creative. And follow Mr. David Greaves at David's, DAVIDS, Mark 2020 AZ. We'll see you guys next week. Everyone have a great one.